Hi everyone. We're here today to watch the Solon Comets take on the Wadsworth Grizzlies. It's September 16th, 2025, and this is looking to be a really good matchup.
Yes, it is, Mary. Excited about the competition tonight. My name is Erin Short. Very excited to be doing this game with you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm Mary Teskey. What we're looking at right now is a Wadsworth team who is ranked, what did you say earlier?
5th in the state, Division 2. They are 8-1, I believe, 6-0 in the national division of the Suburban Conference. They certainly are a formidable foe here, but I have faith in our Comets that we can get it done tonight.
Absolutely. And our Comets, they are a phenomenal team made up of wonderful kids who absolutely love the sport. And one of the things that you'll see here is the way that our team has consistently supported each other. This is looking to be a great matchup, and I think you're all going to love what you see out here today.
I agree, Mary. I actually had a chance to talk to one of our, I believe she's a captain, Mia Daria, before the game. And she was talking to me about how the chemistry of this team, although their record is not what they would hope it to be. Right now they are 2-10 on the season, but they have certainly grown a lot from last year, and the fact that the team chemistry is so much stronger, and I think we have seen that in the games that we've watched them play this year.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're also looking at a very young team this year. Quite a bit different than we've seen in the past. So we have only 4 seniors this year. But we do have some absolutely phenomenal freshmen, some phenomenal underclassmen that you're going to get a chance to see.
For sure. All right, here we go, serving for the Grizzlies, starting with the jump serve.
And we have, that's okay. Sometimes we miss hit, especially when you're trying to place those hits, so that's okay.
Number 10 for the Grizzlies here. Wadsworth is not super tall, but you could tell in warm-up that they were very athletic, and there is a missed serve, so that gives our Comets a point. Mary, do you want to talk a little bit about rally scoring?
Sure. So if you've never seen a volleyball match, or you've only seen it at one of the much, much younger age groups, rally scoring is really a situation where every single missed serve, every single mistake, every single kill, everything essentially counts for a point. So you don't have that same situation where you can miss a serve and then the other team gets it without a problem. So it's really sped up the game quite a bit, and we figured it was about 2 decades.
For sure, yes. And there was a huge solo block by Mary Farthing, number 10 for the Comets. Great start here.
Serve from our libero. And a great out-of-system play, great swing. And that's okay. So one of the things when it comes to passing, just for those of you who are curious, one of the big things you always want to make sure you do is just make sure that your shoulders are squared up to your setter. Yep. And that was what we didn't see in that situation.
Correct. Shoulders to target.
There's a dig. It's an overpass.
But still, Wadsworth is, they aren't quite in sync yet, I don't think. And I think part of it's because of what we're running a little bit here. They're not running their offense from the box. So
absolutely.
A little bit more difficult to score points and get big kills.
Yes. And there was an ace.
That also is one of the changes since from way back when I played 25, 30 years ago. Used to be if the ball hit the net, it was a dead ball, side out. But here, with current Federation high school rules, there's another ace for Wadsworth. Mm-hmm. If it hits the net and it goes over, it's playable.
Absolutely. And you'll see that there are some servers who actually train to try to hit the tape consistently. Okay, we have one more ace. Our current score is 5-2. And again, even though we are down by 4, that's not really a big insurmountable lead at all. In a game like this, leads can change so quickly.
For sure. And I think we're seeing here from Solon how important that first touch is.
Absolutely.
To be able to run an offense. Right. There was a kill by number 12 for the Grizzlies. Again, they had a nice pass on the overpass there. and they were able to set up and run their offense and give their setter several options.
And one of the things you're going to see is when we say out of system, what we essentially mean is that the setter is not able to get directly to the ball in some way. So it could be that the setter is passing, or it could be a situation where the pass just doesn't make it viable. Okay, that was out.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Don't want to disagree with the officials here because I know that's a very difficult job. But
Yes.
from my vantage point, that definitely looked out. And I think Autumn Shaw made a great play on that. She got back to the line and read it, but they called it in. So another point for the Grizzlies. They are on a 9-2 run here.
Well, it's a great
first pass.
And a very smart play.
And that's what happens when you have a great first touch. Then you can run your offense and you have options.
Absolutely. And one of the things to always remember is that with our hitters, it's such a smart play to tip, especially into the middle. Just because you have a strong arm doesn't mean that you should use it 100% of the time. That's a great serve that resulted in an overpass.
And an overpass. Wadsworth is running a 6-2, and so that's why the setter went up and hit the ball. But I believe that
she's back up.
Just another ace there for the Comets. That's exactly what we need.
Absolutely. And I believe that is a sophomore, Kendall Wyman.
Yes. Kendall's been serving really well. And
that was very close.
That was very close. And it was a smart attack serve on Kendall.
Absolutely.
Even though we give up a point, she's serving to the back line, and when you're in a three-man serve receive, I think sometimes that's hard for those girls to decide who's going to take that ball.
Right.
I think Wadsworth may be one of those teams, Mary, that actually practices those serves that hit the top of the net, because they've had maybe 3 of those already that have fallen for aces.
And it does seem to be hitting nearly in an identical spot.
Right.
It was a great pass by Autumn. And that was a very solid swing, though it didn't go over the net. That was still a great swing. There's a lot of speed on it. If that set had been just a bit higher, I think she would have been able to absolutely kill that.
The libero serving for Wadsworth and serves into the net. So, Mary, for those, again, at home who are watching, do you want to give a little information on what the libero is?
Sure. So the libero is essentially a defensive player that can play roughly 6 rotations. They can also serve. However, unlike a normal defensive player who would substitute in and out, in this situation, the libero, if you notice, when they're coming in and out of the game, they're actually coming in and out behind the 10-foot line because they don't count towards subs. So they can be in consistently and can go in for 2 different people. It's actually changed the game quite a bit, whereas back in the day, way back in the day, you didn't have something like a libero. Now we really see these girls that can just specialize in defense and become absolutely exceptional.
Right. Another long serve for the Grizzlies here, so the Comets get a point there. We are serving from behind, 8-13, but this is definitely still within reach. This is not something that we can't get a few quick points here and be right back in this.
Absolutely.
Nice serve by Mary Farthing. Again, not allowing Wadsworth to run their offense from the set.
That was a great back row attack.
And that ball,
I believe the ball hit the antenna.
But I think it hit our blocker's hand first.
Yes.
So that's a point for the Grizzlies. Certainly don't want to be critical of the officials. Being a line judge in volleyball is a very difficult task.
Yes.
Great swing by Mackenzie Ballard there. Went a little off speed, but found that hole in the middle.
Yeah. And that's one of our seniors as well. So we do have a substitution coming in. So again, because we don't see a girl in a different color jersey, that means that these are our actual substitutions. This is not a libero situation. And again, we have an out-of-system situation that resulted in a Comet point. These are great serves that we're seeing.
And number 3, serving for the Comets, Mia Sullen, happens to be the daughter of our Parkside principal, Amanda Sullen, friend of mine.
Well, there you go.
Great serve by Mia.
Absolutely.
And just like that, we are back in this. 11-14.
And that's one of the things with rally scoring that has really changed the game is it allows us to catch up quickly. You know, you can't really hold on to a lead the way that you used to be able to.
Good first pass by the Grizzlies.
It was a great
outside swing, but a good dig, and Mia Daria is running the offense. Autumn Shaw, great job, overpowering the double block there.
Absolutely.
The other thing, Mary, that I think that rally scoring has forced kids to do is have very short memories.
Yes.
Because you cannot dwell on a point. You just have to keep plowing through.
Absolutely.
Nice.
That was a great serve. So one of the other things that we may need to know about volleyball is if the ball hits any part of the white line, it is considered in. So it doesn't matter if it's a hair on the line or it is right in the middle. It's not going to make a difference. That's still a point. Unfortunately, it looks like we had a foot fault there. So that's when the server's foot goes over that white back end line. It can happen.
It can, especially with those kids who jump serve.
Absolutely. Great hustle. Okay.
That was an aggressive serve by Wadsworth. Again, another change, and it's from years ago, but it used to be that the server could only serve from the back right position, about 10 feet over there. Now they can serve anywhere on the end line.
It does make tracking your servers quite a bit a bit more difficult.
Puts a lot more pressure on the serve receive team.
Absolutely.
I would like to see the Comets get back to that back line a little bit more, to be a little more for sure when that ball goes out, but they made a great call on that.
Absolutely. So now we're in a situation where it's essentially a 1st to 20. So a lot of times you'll hear coaches say something along the lines of, it's a game to 5, it's a game to 5. Because our score needs to be 25, we're in that situation. The Comets are only down by 1, so now it truly is a game to 20. So we've just got to get those 5 points. It's a great serve. It looks like they're calling that as over the net.
Over the net.
Which can happen. So one of the...
Especially when you have somebody who's as tall and long as Chisholm is.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things that you always have to be careful of is if the setter can get to the ball, unfortunately the blocker cannot reach over the net to block.
You have to give her an opportunity to make a play. This first game here really has been a serving duel.
Absolutely.
Not many long rallies. Both teams are serving aggressively.
Really shows the importance of understanding the serve, understanding serve receive. So
if the roof of our gym were just a little bit taller, maybe we would have been able to make a play on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things to always keep in mind is that it is playable. So as long as that ball does not cross the middle essentially line or the middle net line, it's still absolutely a playable ball.
It is, and Solon takes a timeout here. I think that's a good timeout by Coach Erica Snyder. I also think it's good that she let the kids play through that first stretch where they were down by 7 or 8 points and gives them a little bit of confidence in themselves out in the court and fought through it.
Absolutely.
This game does go to 25, and you have to win by 2.
Yes.
And it is a match as a best 3 of 5.
So could you tell me a little bit about yourself and your volleyball background? As you're,
Well, I actually was a Division I volleyball player. We may have to wait until we get into the maybe between, well, we're not going to have a lot of time between games, but I played for a very successful high school program in Archibald, Ohio, a small town in northwest Ohio, and was able to play in the state tournament and never won a state championship, but was able to play in the state tournament. It was a fantastic experience.
That was a great,
Nice block.
absolutely. So that's what happens. You know, you always have to remember things can change so quickly in this sport, and that's exactly what we saw there. So again, we're in that race to 20.
Nice block by the Comets.
So there was a bit of a hole in the block, which is what we saw with their header, with Wadsworth's header, just kind of hitting straight through that. But again, Comets are really, really impressive today.
Yeah,
They're really doing well.
I think they're playing very well. Be nice if we could break serve here and
It was a
Great
good
dig.
off-speed
Yep.
choice.
and that middle back for Wadsworth made 2 great plays there.
Yes. So that is a legal hit to only dig with one hand. That is absolutely now legal. There was a time back in the day when they would have said that no way, but rules change, thankfully.
Thankfully, that role for sure, because the game is so much faster than it was when I played.
Absolutely.
See what the Grizzlies can do with this ball. Ooh, you know what? She was right there in that coverage. Just one more step.
Absolutely.
Be nice if the Comets could break this serve and get out of this rotation here.
Okay. So again, we talked about earlier about making sure that your platform is consistently steady. That's what we just need to see there. This is still a very, very winnable match for Solon. It's a great pass. It's okay.
Not much Mia could do with that ball, but good effort. And the Grizzlies are serving game point here, up 24-16.
So we're out of system for Solon, so that's a free ball over. We have a nice swing from Wadsworth to close out this set.
Yes, indeed. I would like our outside blockers to set the posts a little bit harder, go straight up. It really is, people I think misunderstand that those back row players position themselves based on where the block is.
Absolutely.
And if the block sets and then moves, jumps into a different direction, it's very difficult for them to fill holes because there's a lot of holes.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the other things I think that's sometimes a misconception about blocking in general is that it's not just about the stuff block. It's not just about getting that kill off that block. Really, a great blocker will get touches and slow that ball down so that it makes it easier for your own defense.
And not only that, but it's also having them, again, set that post, go up together as a tandem, and then your defense knows where to set up behind you.
Absolutely. Alright, seems like we're back here. And we are back with the Solon Comets versus the Wadsworth Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies won game 1, 25-16, but the Comets gave a mighty fight. Not many long rallies there. Again, it was a game of, I think, strong serving. Hopefully we will see a little bit better first touches, certainly from the Comets in this set, and get some rallies here.
Yes.
But the young kids played very well. Again, if you're just joining us, the Wadsworth Grizzlies are 8-1 overall, 6-0 in the National Division of the Suburban Conference, which is our division of the Suburban Conference. And they are ranked 5th in the state in Division 2. They have only been, actually, I think they have won every match that they've played in 3 sets.
Yes.
Except for the one loss.
Right.
And they lost to Menor, who was ranked number 5 in Division 1. So
Right. Really, really stiff competition out here today.
I'm proud of our Comets because they did not back down. Great serve there. Again, not able to run the offense from the box.
We have a great set outside. That's to our freshman, Logan.
Oh, almost got a hand on that.
So we do want to take a second just to mention Logan here. So she is a freshman. I was able to catch their game last week as well. She truly is phenomenal, and she's really, much like the rest of this team, she's really, really going to make a great impact in this program in the next few years.
She is. She's a great jumper, very long arms. And for a freshman, you know, oftentimes one of the things I want to say to our kids when I'm watching their games is penetrate the net when you block, and Logan penetrates the net.
Yes.
And that is so important.
That was a pass.
Comets just need to talk a little bit more on that.
So one of the things that we're seeing here is it does seem like we need to just move our feet just a bit more.
And we are in a pretty basic three-man serve receive. Wadsworth is doing the same.
So one of the hallmarks that you'll see of a good server is serving to the seams. And what that essentially means is trying to serve in between some of the passers that are in the back row. So you might hit a 5 and a 6 or a 1 and a 6 or something along those lines.
And that's a perfect first pass by our freshman libero, Alexandra Blue. Just not able to get a point out of that, but that was a great first touch, and I see that Coach Snyder here has made an adjustment, and we've gone more to a two-man serve receive here.
Yes. And there can be benefits to the two-man serve receive, so it does allow you to have 3 hitters in the front row where they're not trying to move or rotate, and you're not having nearly the explosion that you could potentially have.
Nice, deep, hard serve there by number 16 for the Grizzlies. They are on a 7-0 run to start this game. We really need to break serve here and get on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. It was a very nice pass. And a good roll shot. We have a tip.
And we are double blocking there in the middle. And just a little off speed and rolled off the blocker's hands.
Right. And again, Aaron brought this up earlier. The key here with blocking is to penetrate the net, to make sure you're sealing.
Ooh, right idea there
Absolutely.
by the freshman. There was a hole, just didn't get it over the net. Coach Snyder's making another adjustment.
Sometimes making that type of an adjustment, especially when you're in a situation where a server is serving quite a bit or serving consistently, just that movement can really throw a server off.
For sure, and I think that happened because Erica made that adjustment without even calling a timeout and served into the net. Good strong serve for the Comets. Just need to penetrate there.
Absolutely.
Mackenzie Ballard was blocking on the weak side with Farthing in the middle.
Again, another good pass. Just a little bit too much on her.
Kind of the same thing there, Mary, when you talk about platform and hips to target on the serve receive. Same thing when you swing, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
that ball went exactly where Mackenzie Ballard was facing. Just a
Yeah.
little bit wide. The libero serving for the Grizzlies. Deep serve, out of bounds. Great movement on our back row, and we score a point. Comets are serving down 2-11. Nice
That was
serve.
a great serve. That's a back row attack from Wadsworth.
And that's much harder than people understand.
Yes.
A back row attack like that, and it was effective. Good top spin on it. Ball dropped right at that 10-foot line. It was too difficult for our Comets to pick up.
And what's interesting, too, about the back row attack is it's become much more prevalent in the game. There were years where you almost never saw it. That was a great swing.
And again, I want to give a shout out to the back row there because I sometimes can be critical of our first touches, but Alexandra Blue, great pass there so we could run our offense. And we score a point. I think oftentimes back row players are like linemen in football. They don't always get a lot of the credit, but what they do is so important. Great play by Adam Shaw.
Yes. That was really impressive to know and to have that type of volleyball IQ where you see that there's a hole in Wadsworth defense.
And she made that decision after she had started her approach. She was up in the air and she makes that decision again. Those are split-second decisions, and that was a great one by Adam Shaw.
A swing on the outside, and that sailed out of bounds a bit. So typically we see something like that happening with a hitter when they don't snap all the way through their swing, so the ball just sort of slides right out of their hand. We have a nice pass and a middle tip.
That's how you used to do it there, Miss Teskey.
That is. Back in the day, we were talking earlier about my high school team may have been the reason that
my Comets did not get to the state tournament in 2002, so I'm not going to hold it against you. I still hired you to be a teacher, so good thing I didn't know that in the interview.
Yes. Some things you just learn to keep to yourself, right? Well, that's a great dump. Great choice. And if you notice, we now actually have a new setter in for the Solon Comets. So we have Kendall, and it looks like we're playing a 5-1. Looks like a 5-1 with
We
her.
are. And we're stacking. Can you explain why we're stacking those girls over there?
Sure. So whenever you're stacking hitters, it's basically because you have your middle or your outsides or your right sides that need to be able to move, and we can't have overlapping between our back row and our front row. So it's really, really important that they are stacked in a way that they're not going to be overlapping each other.
You can tell that Miss Teskey is a fantastic teacher because she's breaking the game down very nicely.
I do what I can. I might also be a huge fan of volleyball.
A huge fan of volleyball. So do you have a team? Well, before we talk about college volleyball, tell us a little bit about your story too, your volleyball journey.
Sure. So I actually in high school played for Magnificat for a couple years and then transferred in and played for Brecksville. After that, I ended up playing in college. I was a middle blocker for John Carroll University, really right down the road, and it was exceptional. It was my absolute favorite time. I learned probably more than I could ever hope when it comes to volleyball. And believe it or not, I'm actually still in the top 5 for blocking.
Outstanding.
20 years later, maybe I shouldn't say that.
Fantastic. At JCU?
At JCU.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My collegiate career, and I'm much older than you, but I had the privilege of playing at the University of Akron. I was a setter. And I remember, I think one of my first college games was at the Ohio State University at the Schottenstein. And boy, was that a welcome to the big time.
I'm sure. That would be intimidating for
It
any
was,
player.
but what a tremendous experience.
Yeah. Those are the moments that you always look back at. And
For sure.
much like for our players here today, they're going to be able to look back at this time that they've spent playing volleyball, and it will be some of the best moments.
Right. Great serve there. Nice deep serve. Good pass by the Grizzlies.
That
But
was
this
a great
swing is out of bounds. Yeah, great swing, but she hits it deep. And I do think Chisholm in the middle is impacting that a little bit. She's very tall,
Yes.
over 6 foot, has very long arms. And they're trying to go over her, and by doing so, they hit it out of bounds. And there she makes a great block. And again, same thing. Trying to get around that big presence in the middle, and we're closing the gap here a little bit. We were down 11-2 at one point. Now we're just down 8-15.
Absolutely. And volleyball very much can be a mental, and there we see another phenomenal block.
Stuff block. Great job in the middle.
So volleyball can be quite a mental game, especially when you are a hitter. If you're being blocked regularly or consistently, you try to change up your own game, which can sometimes cause balls to fly out or miss tips or miss hits.
when I coached, I always liked my girls to keep swinging as much as they could.
Absolutely.
There's always a time for the tip or the throw, but I like to swing.
And that's a serve into the net. So again, we've said it before and we'll say it again. This is a game that moves incredibly quickly, and it is very, very doable for our Solon Comets. They've already cut that lead quite a bit.
Great serve by Autumn Shaw. Great pass. Just a little out of position there, I think, on the defense.
Yep.
Reaction time, but again, she's a freshman.
Absolutely. And
The-
that will come.
With experience, for sure. The Grizzlies are serving with a 17-10 lead.
And that ball is out.
It is, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of the back row. The girls are traveling to that line, and that's purposeful because those balls can drop.
Yes.
Kind of like in fast pitch softball, you throw a drop ball or a sinker in baseball, and those volleyballs can drop very quickly in that back line.
It was a great swing right down the line.
And I think that's a smart hitter there on Wadsworth. Mia Daria's playing weak side for us right now. Great athlete, but is not super tall, and so she recognized that, and that hitter went away from our big middle and went down the line.
And
But
again, another ball out of bounds.
So the first game, I thought Wadsworth was really working on those net touch serves, and this game they're missing deep a lot, and I'm wondering if maybe that's a strategy on maybe as a whole that their coach saw, and they're trying to go deep, but they're missing them.
So we did have a touch on that, so even though the ball ended up going out of bounds because it did touch one of our players, it's still a point for Wadsworth. And we're currently at 19-12. Again, this is not an insurmountable score. They could very, very easily come back from this. It's a great pass from our libero. A nice tip. And we see another great pass. A phenomenal swing.
Great use of the blocker there. Again, Logan is very quick.
Yes.
Quick arm swing, quick wrist snap, and was able to penetrate right through that double block outside.
Right. And again, smart hitters will use their block to their advantage. And that's exactly what we saw. And that's a great serve. And we see a little roll hit. That was a pancake.
Great pancake there.
Great job keeping the ball alive. And another tip and another pancake. And a swing. Great up again from our libero.
That was a great rally.
It was.
A couple great gets there from our back row. That's what you like to see in this game.
Yes.
The Grizzlies are serving with a 20-13 lead.
Again, a good pass. Nice back set to our right side. And that came right off the block. So again, we had a little bit of a hole. So unfortunately, it just sort of hit on the inside of that block.
It was a great pass set by the libero for Wadsworth, too.
Absolutely.
Ace serve by the Grizzlies. They take a 22-13 lead.
And that almost looked like a high-speed floater serve.
Did. And those floaters, for those of you who don't know what a floater serve is, the ball moves. It literally floats back and forth, and you don't really know where it's going to land. An aggressive swing there from the back row, just mishit it into the net. Grizzlies are up 23-13.
And again, though the score may seem a little lopsided, in all actuality, this is a highly competitive game between these two teams.
Overpass by Wadsworth, but the setter made a great play. Dumped it into a hole on the right side, which is a smart play because that's where our setter's coming from on defense.
Right. And now we have game point. So this is our first game point, 24-13. It's a great hustle. Good swing by our libero.
Set the ball deep. It's hard for Wadsworth to run.
And
A nice block
great
there.
block. Okay, looks like Wadsworth hitter may have been underneath the net. So again, you cannot get your full foot underneath the net. You could certainly touch it with your toe, but if your full foot is under, it becomes a safety issue at that point.
Comets are still fighting here, down 14-24. We need to get a stop. Nice block.
Great block. Absolutely. And this is why it's so important to just keep going. Even though we're at game point game point, we can absolutely come back from this.
Great serve. That was a floater as well. You could see the bottom just drop out of it.
Yes.
Nice pass set by
Good
Kendall.
swing, great placement.
Oh, good hustle by Wadsworth.
Absolutely.
Good reaction, but the ball went out of bounds. It was outside the antenna. So we have closed the score to 16-24. It's always a tough way to end a game, but
It is.
serve it into the net, and the Comets lose game 2, 25-16. Again, this is a best 3 of 5 match. Comets are down 0-2 to the Wadsworth Grizzlies.
Yes. All right, and we are back here for game 3 of the Solon Comets versus the Wadsworth Grizzlies volleyball match. Just as a reminder, this is a best of 5. So even though the Solon Comets are down by 2, they absolutely have 3 more chances. So they could very well win this game.
Absolutely. And it takes one, right?
Exactly.
1 point at a time, one serve at a time, one touch at a time, and anything can happen. And like we were talking pregame, again, Wadsworth is ranked 5th in the state in Division II. They're undefeated in the conference, but like some of our kids said to you before the game tonight, why not us?
Right.
Why can't the Solon Comets be the first team to knock off the Wadsworth Grizzlies?
Exactly. And I think that we've seen quite a lot of great plays from our Solon Comets. We're seeing that it seems like their confidence is being built up as they're going through this. They're becoming more comfortable. And for those of you who've never played volleyball, having that comfortability when you play is so important.
It is. Strong first serve by the Grizzlies. Great pass set. Just missed that ball.
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes. Again, that's a very difficult skill. That ball is coming from back right. She's an outside hitter. It is really hard to make that play.
Extremely, yeah. We have a serve ace.
And it does look like the Grizzlies are switching it up. Game 2, they serve deep most of the time, but the first 2 serves here have been shorter. And we just need to make some adjustments here in our serve receive. Get a good, strong first touch so we can run our offense.
Okay, that's an overpass. And a great block from Chisholm in the middle. And it looks like Kendall Wyman was also supporting
I
on
was
that.
just going to have to say I have to give a shout out to my setters. Kendall did a great job setting the post there. Chisholm may have gotten most of the ball, but at least she put her in a position to get that block.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, you have right now you're listening to a setter and a middle hitter. So
That's
of course,
right.
notice how we each had to talk about the player that played our position. And now we have our freshman libero serving.
Coach Snyder's really mixed some things up here in all 3 games. A lot of kids getting some playing time and good, strong first serve. Again, takes Wadsworth out of their offense just a little bit.
Great job getting that ball out of the net. Another skill that is incredibly difficult. And a roll
Good coverage
tip.
there on the block.
Great swing. What an amazing effort.
Great
by our
effort by
team.
the Comets. And you know what? That was, I think, just a product of we were working so hard to get those digs on our side of the net. there was just a hole, and sometimes that happens.
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
Our blockers didn't have a chance to get back and get set, and that was a great rally.
Yes. It's again another hard floater serve. And that ball was out. However, again, it was a great swing. She just didn't follow all the way through. So that's a very easy adjustment, something that can happen easily.
And I do think that, oftentimes hitters, when they hit long like that, they are actually, it's kind of intentional because they're trying, she could have been trying to go off the block.
Right. So often you'll hear coaches, especially if you watch college volleyball, they'll say swipe off of the block. And what they're just telling their hitters to do essentially is to aim for those fingertips so they can get that touch. It was a very good swing.
Great ball placement by Mary. Just a little bit out long there.
Yeah, it looked like about an inch or two long. But that is the right idea, and that's why this game is starting off so close. If you notice, there's also, it seems like the energy has picked up quite a bit.
For sure, and I love that from our Solon Comets, that there's no quit. They're playing this game just as hard as they played the first one.
Yes.
Another strong swing by Logan, and just a good solid block by Wadsworth, and sometimes that happens.
Yeah. And what looked to have happened there with the Wadsworth block was they just didn't seal the net. They weren't pushing all the way over, and so that ball just dropped right in front of them.
And that ball never went over. Great job, Comets. We are back in this thing, 4-5. I don't know if we've had a lead in the match yet, but it would be nice if we could tie it up here and
absolutely
get on top. And there you go. Fantastic serve.
Again, that sophomore, Kendall Weinman. So again, this is a game to 5. It's going to be a race to 10 at this point.
Oh, another good get. Nice swing,
Great
McKenzie.
choice. And long,
no touch. There we go. Mary, we got our first lead of the night, 6-5.
Yeah, you got your wish.
I
officially.
did.
Can we start wishing now?
I just need to keep making wishes here.
I think so. I think that the Comets are hearing you loud and clear.
This is a good chance for us to run our offense. Mary makes a good decision, goes deep corner there. Difficult for Wadsworth to run their offense.
Great swing.
Oh, that's where we just didn't penetrate the net, but Logan had to defend the setter there as well, so she went up 2 times very quickly.
Right.
I think we need to also give a shout out to Mackenzie Ballard. Swinging as hard as she does as a right-handed hitter from the weak side is not easy to do.
It is not. It's an incredibly difficult angle that you're coming in on. And there's another great swing from Mackenzie. Good placement, good choice.
Nice block by Mackenzie Ballard and Mary Farthing. We talked during one of the breaks that Mackenzie's almost like a utility player because she can swing strong side, she can swing weak side, and
she can even play middle.
She can, for sure. And that's kind of an enigma because typically great serve by the freshman.
A little off-speed hit.
And she found the hole there.
Yes. And sometimes you'll hear when volleyball games are going on, you might hear a coach yell, hit the donut, and that's literally just that middle part of the court.
She found the donut.
Yes.
Nice play by Mackenzie. The set was a little high, and she had to hang up there a little bit longer, and she actually had to use her left hand on that.
Yeah. And that's what we mean by utility players. Players who can, again, make those snap decisions, who can play in any position and be consistently successful. That's such an impressive feat. A very good swing. Great touch from our block again.
Ooh. Good decision by our setter there. She had those blockers kind of lost in transition there, but just outside by an inch. We are tied up at 8 as Wadsworth serves.
Nice pass. Great choice from Autumn.
Good hustle there by Wadsworth, but didn't get it over on the third hit. And again, I think we've seen a lot better first touches in this set.
Absolutely. I would absolutely agree with you on that. And we're also seeing that the Comets are doing everything they possibly can to extend the play. So they're not giving up on any of these balls. They're hitting the floor when they need to. They're not giving up on their teammates, and that is the mark of a great team.
Great
dig.
Just keep on swinging.
Absolutely.
Number 16 for Wadsworth has a pretty good arm there.
She really does, yeah. And I will say, one of the things we talked about a little bit earlier was this idea of rally scoring. So one of the things you always want to think about is that every mistake is a point, regardless of which side you're on. And so we can add some pressure with that. But again, we're seeing two great teams really work hard. Looked like they said, I believe Chisholm was in the net is what they're calling.
I didn't see it from my angle up here, but I am definitely a lot further away from the court than that down official is.
Right. And while I wouldn't ever say anything against our officials, because we know it's an incredibly difficult job.
It is.
And sometimes they have better angles and can see better than we can.
That was a great play by Wadsworth, and again, shout out to their setter. Great, incredible body control, jump set there. Did not fall into the net, and she very easily could have.
Yes.
Wadsworth is up 11-9.
Great call
Good
by
decision.
Logan. Absolutely. So
That's I'm sorry, Mary. That's something else that I've seen too. That they've grown this season from the first match that I saw this year. They're talking more in the court. They're talking to each other, and it's such a team sport.
Again, a great serve and a nice roll hit. It's a good up, and that's JJ with that deep swing. Again, number 16 on Wadsworth. She really has a phenomenal swing. And she's doing a great job of placing that ball in between our defensive players.
And she's swinging away from Chisholm. She knows that middle hitter's taking up a lot of real estate there in the middle of the court. And she's swinging away from her, and she found a hole there. Yeah. Another long serve by the Grizzlies, which brings the score to 10-12.
Yes. And one of the
11-12, excuse me.
Oh yeah. And one of the things that you'll notice sometimes when a player tries to do a float serve, if you don't hit it correctly, it can sail that ball pretty long.
Great block there by number 10, Mary Farthing. I haven't seen Mary play a whole lot of middle this year, but she's actually playing very well tonight.
Absolutely.
Overpass, and there you go, Mary Farthing.
That was a great swing. Her timing on that overpass was absolutely impeccable.
And tell us how that feels as a middle hitter.
Like
when you see that ball coming, is it like 10 feet wide?
Oh, yes. It is the best feeling in the world, and usually once you hit that ball, it elevates your game infinitely from that point on.
Good coverage there. Our block has forced Wadsworth to adjust their offense, and they are tipping more because we have had some pretty strong stuff blocks, and that's what you like to see.
Right. Again, the score's 13-13. We're all tied.
Overpass, but it comes right back to the Comets, and we're going to run our offense.
And that's okay. So that looks like it just went off the tips of her fingers a bit, and that's, again, that can happen, and especially in a game where it's very, very close, or wanting to swing away. And ultimately, you want your hitters to swing away, even if they do.
Just like that right there. Great kill by the freshman. And I think the difference on that swing was that she was able to get completely off in transition to make her full approach.
Yes. And that's something that you'll see. You know, you always want your hitters to be at least behind the 10-foot line, even those middles. And yes, I can say that because I was a middle and may have been yelled at for that time or two. It was a great swing, great up. Great choice again by Mary. She is really dominating that net. It looks like our middles are really stepping it up.
They are, and the Comets are ahead 15-14, forcing the Grizzlies to take a timeout.
And again, this is what we talked about. This is a best of 5 situation. So even though we may have been behind by 2 games, that does not mean anything. They could very easily take this game, and we could see a reverse sweep, much like we've been seeing even in college volleyball.
Correct. And I really love the energy that our ladies are playing with tonight. They are not quitting. They are fighting. And that speaks volumes about them. And I think we both, as educators, they're very strong volleyball players, but even better than that, they're awesome human beings. And I can say that as their principal, and I know you can say that because you have a lot of these kids in class.
Oh, absolutely.
They're some of our best students, and they're just kind, good people.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about.
Absolutely. It's great to see kids that sit in your classroom every day, that you see in the hallway, succeed. And this is exactly what we're seeing. That hard work is really making a difference.
Right. It is. Kendall Wyman is serving tough, again, making it very difficult for Wadsworth to run their offense. And that was a killer back row attack.
Yes.
I mean, the ball just dropped as soon as it came across the net at the 10-foot line.
Yeah. And then we did see Kendall did stick her foot out, and even though the play was already dead, that would have actually been a legal hit.
Great first pass there.
Good swing. We have a little back row or back set.
Love the aggressiveness there. You know, you see her pat her chest and say, my bad, but I would much rather have kids make mistakes like that where they're swinging.
Absolutely. And again, that goes back to the philosophy of the game. Swing away. Even if you miss once, doesn't mean you're going to miss again.
Keep swinging. Good first touch.
Great swing. And that's exactly what we're talking about.
Right. And that was just a communication error there, I think. And that is oftentimes hard for those front row defensive players.
Right.
I think sometimes those back row specialists are just like, just let me take the ball.
Yes. And I think
you focus on hitting. Let me play defense.
Yes. And I think we've all been, that's a great swing again by Mary. And we have a back row attack, a little bit of off speed. And Logan switching it up with that tip. Again, very smart play.
She is. And Kendall is really also switching it up when she's running the offense. So, so the setter in softball is much like a point guard in basketball or the quarterback on a football team. Not that we were the most important person, Mary, but certainly they are the person who are making the decisions. Oh, great serve. And the fact that she keeps switching it up really keeps the defense on their toes. And she can do that because our first touches are allowing her to run the offense.
Exactly. You know, volleyball is the true team sport. You cannot succeed without the other people on the court. And we see that time and time again. And I really think that our Solon Comets are proving that. They are succeeding as a team. They are really firing on all cylinders, essentially.
They are. Long serve there, but it was an aggressive serve. So the Grizzlies lead 18-17. Good hustle by Kendall.
Again, a great choice on where to place that hit.
Good strong block, and the Wadsworth hitter just used our blocker, and that happens.
Yep. So that was
play good hitters.
Yeah, that was that swipe again. And again, you'll see great teams. We've seen it with Solon. We've seen it with Wadsworth using their block to their advantage.
Outside.
Great.
That was a swipe. She went right over. Because that was a very formidable block on the outside, and our outside hitter Autumn Shaw there just used those blockers and touched it right over their hands and dropped it in front of the 10-foot line.
So we kind of saw a similar situation. So again, because Solon's block is so strong right now, we're going to start seeing Wadsworth try to tip right over that block more and more.
Which puts a little more pressure on our back row to cover a little bit more ground, but timeout on the court for one of our girls to tie her shoes. Wadsworth is up 20-18. The Comets are fighting here in game 3.
And it's great to see, if you watch these two teams really when the ball isn't in play, you see our Solon Comets, they're smiling, they're laughing. Those types of things keep them loose and allow them to play even better.
But they're still intense, and it's not a goofy kind of laugh. They're having fun, and playing good volleyball is fun.
Absolutely.
Great effort there by freshman Alexandra Blue. Looks like she dinged her elbow a little bit. That floor is not soft, and they are not playing with any padding, so they are definitely sacrificing their bodies out there.
Absolutely.
Good hustle.
Great choice.
Good hustle. Just a tough serve there for Logan to handle.
And again, we saw that the players from Solon are trailing, right? So they're actually tracking that ball so that they can potentially get that next up.
And that's part of that never say die.
Absolutely.
They're running the ball, and just as long as they get over the net, they can come back in for another play and play defense again.
Yeah.
But we find ourselves down 18-22 in the third game.
And we're looking for a fourth.
Yes, we are.
And I do believe, and obviously I don't like speculating, but I certainly love having a positive attitude. And I do believe the way that the Comets are playing in this game is so impressive. I do feel like they can easily take this.
I agree. And this is a shift, I think, for our Comets, because earlier in the season, if we lost the first two, sometimes that third one was not nearly as close as this. So I definitely see us continuing to fight.
Absolutely.
We have a very strong front row in right now. 2 seniors and Chisholm, and good first touch, and
great swing directly into the block.
Good coverage there too on the block.
Yes. And
it looks like they called one of our Comets into the net.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't think I saw what number they called, unfortunately.
I think they called it on Autumn. I thought it was the ball, but what do I know? Great play there. Good swing by Mackenzie.
And again, that hit went straight through the block. So there's a bit of a gap.
Right.
And we're now at game point. So this is game point as well as match point.
And Wadsworth has one of their best hitters right in the front row on the left side. And so we try to break serve here.
It's a good pass. Great swing. Great choice to attack on that.
And that's just overpowering the blockers.
Absolutely. And the amount of mental fortitude you have to be at game point and to still be willing to swing is really, really impressive.
Absolutely. Mia Daria serving for the Comets. Good deep serve. See if we can shut. Oh, she went soft. Oh. She went soft because she was afraid of the block, but she rolled it right off, and that is game, set, and match for the Grizzlies. They win the third set 25-19. Mary, just closing thoughts here on what you saw with the Comets tonight.
Honestly, I think that they played incredibly well. I think what I saw and what I think impressed me the absolute most was their willingness to go for everything. They were never going to give up on this game. They were never going to give up on a ball, and that really, really speaks volumes about them.
I agree. I'm proud of how our kids played tonight. Wadsworth certainly is a very strong volleyball team. Wish them well in the remainder of the season and certainly into the postseason. Hope that they represent the Suburban Conference well. But those of you at home, if you have a chance to come out and watch our Comets play, we encourage you to come to Solon High School and watch them in person. Great evening of entertainment. Mary, this has been a pleasure.
Yes, it
Thank
has
you
been
so
phenomenal.
much. Have a great night, everybody.
See ya.